What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Business Breakthrough. In this episode, I sit down with Jerome Brooks of Brooks Brothers Painting, and we are diving in deep into his business. This was a long-winded one. We went back and forth on a lot of things, but I love it because it's just, it's great. The energy of just kind of going back and forth, trying to come up with a plan on real problems that contractors deal with. Man, is what this breakthrough series is about. So you guys are going to enjoy this one. It's just really, oh man, what a great business breakthrough. And it starts right now. The big question you need to ask yourself every day is, do I own a job or do I own a business? And unfortunately, the majority of contractors out there own a job. That's right, they're a slave to their own business. But the other side of the fence is so much greener, it's so much better, and that's when you're finally fully in control of your destiny, your freedom, your time. And that's what Contractor Secrets is about. It's about taking back our time, building a business with systems, standards, values, procedures, putting yourself in the driver's seat. And that's what it's about. So I'm excited. I'm happy to have you here. Let's dive into the Contractor Secrets podcast. All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Business Breakthrough. I'm here with my good friend Jerome with Brooks Brothers Painting in New Jersey. And we're just diving in, bro. Normally when I start these, I just like to know what's going really well in your business right now. And then after you're done telling me that, what's something that you want to maybe hit another level on, man? What's an area that you're wanting to cross that threshold?
So what's working really well is actually the volume. So we have the business, we turn down work. I turned down probably maybe this week alone, I've probably turned down close to maybe 10, 15K.
That's good. Yeah, that's a good problem to have.
It's a great problem to have, but it's also frustrating because it's like, I've been doing this now 5 years. I've been on my own now 3 years.
Okay.
And it's like you keep hitting the threshold. It's like, but everything that you're doing around it, procedures, processes, all that's there, all that's work, but it's just, getting over that monkey hole, so to speak.
So let's talk about that before we get into an area that you want to improve on. What's the team look like, man? Because normally when people are turning down work, it's just because you can't do the work. So what's the team looking like?
That's my problem.
Okay.
I have 5 guys.
Okay.
3 are qualified, 2 are trainees. And the 3 that are qualified, I just get, you get that. You don't have that. What I'm missing is a me.
You're missing
what I'm missing. Nobody.
Every CEO in the world it says that, right? So that could be overcome. So you got 5 guys right now. Let me ask you this. This is Brooks Brothers Painting. Is there a brother around, or is that just the name of the company?
Solely a name.
It's just a name. Okay. All right. So it's just, so there's no other family members with their hands in the business. It's really just you.
It's really just me.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. So when it comes to the actual production, how many jobs are going on at once? So does everybody work together?
No, right now I currently run anywhere from 2 to 4 at a time.
2 to 4 with 5 guys. So sometimes you're gonna have one guy finishing up a job by themselves.
Correct.
You don't like that. I know you don't like that.
I hate it. However, the one that's doing it will be probably my best all around guy.
Right. But what you're doing, what you're doing, right, is you're burning them out. Because you're burning them out. And I know mentally as a caring boss, you're probably like, okay, there's a ticking time bomb here, and you might have to overcompensate, don't you?
Often. Cash,
bonus, anything, just to get, hey bro, hey man, I need you to work Saturday, man. We got to finish this one up.
Often.
I've lived that life. So okay, so you got 5 guys. Man, you're way ahead of the game. This is a hard business to get production in, and you found 5 people. Now let me ask you, you keeping them busy 40 hours a week, everybody?
40, 45. Everybody, yeah.
So let me ask you this question. What type of work are you guys performing daily? I mean, tell me all the types of jobs that you guys are taking.
I'm 60% residential.
Okay. Well, residential could be cabinets, interior painting, exterior painting, staining. What all jobs are you guys taking throughout the week?
Mostly just simple repaints. We do staining. We do cabinets here and there when I can afford the time and schedule. That's really not something that we do like often. Um, but mostly simple residential repaint.
And you're doing all the estimates?
Correct.
Where's the work coming from? What type of marketing are you guys doing? Is it all word of mouth?
A little bit of everything, word of mouth, Google, Facebook.
Okay.
I still do once in the blue. I may, just to influx, just my pipeline. I may still pay for lead, a couple through Angie's or Porch. It depends, if it's a good one. Yeah, so but mostly like Google. Google is my biggest one. Um,
Google. Yeah, Google's the biggest one for now. Okay,
big
good. So you got a good
Google.
reputation on Google, good reviews.
Mhm.
Love it. All right. So let's talk strategy here, man, because right now, when I hear that you're taking on that much work with that little amount of guys, something's off. It's either the scheduling or the process. There's no predictability. The first red flag I see is that you told me that you're taking both residential and commercial work. Okay.
Correct.
Those are two totally different
Monsters.
businesses. You know
Correct.
what I'm saying? Because first of all, residential, you can ask for that payment as soon as you're done. Commercial, sometimes it's net 30. You have to go through a manager. That hurts your cash flow. Have you ran into that?
That's definitely a problem.
Do you have commercial
Um,
work going on right now?
correct.
And what's happening in the commercial work is you kind of have to probably alter your processes. Some commercial work you can't work during the normal business hours, right?
Correct.
And
Correct.
then ultimately, what does that do? That throws a wrench in your schedule, right?
Um, you could say that. I do have possibly maybe scheduling is not as tight as it should be, or maybe I'm doing something wrong with scheduling. So that could be definitely
That
something.
could be it. Well, with the
Mhm.
commercial work, I mean, you said about 40% of your business is commercial work.
Correct.
The work that you told me you turned down, were you turning down residential customers?
So that's both, yeah, residential and commercial. I walk away from both.
Okay. I'm gonna just give you something right off the bat, man. I don't think you should be taking commercial work anymore. I think
Really.
there's enough residential work. I think you should never take another commercial job until you get to a point where your business is hitting $1 million in a year. I mean, because the reality of the situation is you don't need it. And ultimately what that's doing is it's just causing a lot of confusion in your scheduling. And I mean, again, you're in a business right now. What's your background, by the way? What did you start in? You look like a businessman, bro. So I'm just curious what you started in.
Um, I started, you could say, ask me a different way.
What was your previous job before you got started owning a business?
And I was a truck driver.
You're a truck driver. Okay. And you saw an opportunity in the painting business, or you got a job as a painter?
I saw an opportunity.
You saw an opportunity and you saw it as an opportunity. Okay. So you're a businessman, obviously. So really what you have to understand is that the assets that you have that produce the result in this industry, okay, are based on energy, which deteriorates from Monday to Friday. Okay. So my question to you is, how do you create consistency from Monday to Friday? Because right now what you're doing is you're stretching your income producing assets very thin. With truck driving, it's kind of like mileage, right? But ultimately you have way more mileage on a machine than you do on a human. Okay. And I'm getting deep with you because I want you to understand that this principle here is that you need to find a way to put everyone together. Okay. There right now with 5 guys spread out like you do, I can guess how much money you're generating in a month. Right now, I'll guess it. I guarantee I'll get close.
You're
Okay.
close.
Right now, you're probably doing about between 28,000 and 30,000 in a month.
About that.
Okay. Right about there, right?
About that.
7,000 a week. Okay.
About that.
Generating.
Easy. Yeah.
Easy. Okay. So that's about where you're at right now. Let me help you. If you put all 5 guys together, you could do the same amount of revenue. They would get the jobs done faster. You would have a leader on the crew. Everyone would work together. That means from Monday to Friday, you're not giving your customers a poor experience on Friday because everyone's burnt out because they're all sporadic, running around, working by themselves. I don't know if you've ever done it. Have you ever worked by yourself with a customer in their house?
Absolutely.
Stressful.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's stressful. They're watching you. You probably have a laundry list of things that you got to do. You got to touch up this, got to go get that ladder, touch that up. Now imagine having one more person alongside you. How much different is that for you as the person working?
So I run two crews, um, in like what I call my off man, my switcher. And then I still get dirty myself. So I still wear the painter's hat. So when I say 5 guys, it's 5 of them plus myself, easy 3 days a week,
So
4 hours a day.
so you have 4 employees essentially.
No, I have
Oh,
close
so
to
you're saying
6 employees
plus yourself would be
plus
you.
myself. Correct.
Okay. So what I'm telling you is this. First thing is you got to narrow down your job type that you take. For us, let me give you an example for us so you can see where I'm coming from. I only take full exterior repaints, and full interior repaints are 90% of the house. In other words, I want jobs that are either going to be 2 full days, 3 full days, 4 full days, or 5 full days. Why? Because I want to make sure that my scheduling is easy. I want to know, hey, I can send my team of, and in your case, my team of 5, it's going to take them 2 days to do this job. Cool. Now I'm going to find a job that takes them 3 days to do this job. Boom. I want to try to keep them as together as possible. Yes, you're going to have the off situation where you might have to pluck one off to finish a job, maybe for an hour or two, and then join the team again. But
Of course,
the problem that I see that you're running into, everyone's spread way too thin. You don't have enough mechanics, which I assume you have 2 guys and 3 helpers. So essentially, you really can only run 2 solid jobs with a leader on it at a time anyway. So ultimately, what I'm assuming that you're able to do is really start 2 solid jobs in a week. And then the other jobs that you're doing are catching up from the week before. Is that true?
you're asking. So I do close out on time. I don't really have a catch up like catch or backlog. Most times, most jobs are done within. I run a see with my difficulties, right? I did implement ways to be able to handle that. So I work almost just like a contractor because we are contractors. So I work
Right.
like a contractor, and more so. So I run in task and execution. So let's just say first day is prep. So that may be 1, 2 guys go prep. A few hours or whatever the case may be. Then let's the next day, ceilings and doors and trim, whatever the case. So that way I send my best or my fastest guys who can bang out cylinder doors and trim. Then I might send the 2 guys who are the fastest cutters. So they may finish. So that's kind of how I keep up with
So
the
what you're
my
doing is
flow.
you are so independent, you are so dependent
And
on
that is true.
skill.
Mm-hmm.
That is not going to sustain growth. You're way too dependent on skill. You're not dependent on process. There's 2 ways that you can run a business. Like for example, if I owned if I owned a restaurant and I only had one chef that could prepare a dish, if that chef is unavailable, my customers don't get the same experience. That would mean that I'm dependent on that chef.
Correct. I get what
Major
you're saying.
issue. You see what I'm saying? You can't
I understand what you're saying.
you can't scale that, right? So what I did in my business was, okay, I understood that I have to be system and process dependent, not task dependent, like I think you mentioned. Okay. System and process dependent says, number one, I have to understand the job types that I take have to fit within a box. Okay. That means I'm only taking ceilings, walls, trim, and doors. I'm not taking wallpaper removal. I'm not taking popcorn removal. I'm not taking drywall repair. Why? Because I don't want that to be based on if I have the right person in my business to do that job. No, everyone is going to do the same task. Okay. Everyone should be able to fit within that same box. And where I'm getting at with you is that when it comes to process dependent business, it doesn't matter who's on the job. You just obviously there is some skill sets that need to be required that can be trained, but there's a ceiling there. Spraying is the highest level skill, cutting, and then project management. Those 3 things are what you should be focusing on. Okay. And where I'm getting at is that if you take away commercial, you take away the stress of all the things that commercial come with. And I know that it's different than residential because I've done this. I just know it's just something that I don't even touch. I don't even care about. I'm a residential painting company. When you have a guy, I think you mentioned there's one person in your company that's your ace. That's what I call him, like an ace. Do you have that? Okay. So you have that guy
Yeah, I
who
have one or 2.
one, yeah, that the two. I think you mentioned there's two guys that you just trust to just get it done. You know that they're great. Okay. Let me ask you something. Okay. Do you fear at any point in time that they could go and go somewhere else? Or do you, I mean, just being honest, because I want to make sure that we can keep these great people.
That's just the reality. That's the reality for you. That's the reality for me. Anybody can get up and go. Um, but no, I don't think. No, I don't
You
think. I
don't
think
feel like
everybody's
do
happy.
you ever feel like the workload exceeds what they're getting paid on a
No, not
weekly
at all.
basis? You
I
make sure of it.
compensate. Yeah,
You
every
overcompensate.
we do team building. Like we have Top Golf this Saturday.
Nice.
I take them out to Top
Love that.
Golf.
Love that. So you're building
So
that culture. You're building that.
correct.
But have you had that conversation one on one with these leaders that you have? Because you're way ahead of a lot of people that I help, and I think, bro, it just might take a couple tweaks for you to skyrocket. And I'm looking at your situation from my perspective, and I could be wrong, but I'm just looking at it like this: your two major issues is scheduling and putting everyone together. I ran a very profitable painting company with 5 painters on every job. Okay. We hit about 500,000 that year. Okay. And if you're hitting 30,000 a month sporadically, you know that that's about 380,000 off the top of my head. So you could be maximizing with 5 on every job. Can you see your company running that way, or is that something that you would just avoid?
Okay. So I ran that way, and let me say this with you. I ran that way. So mind you, my first year, 2019, right? Second year, 2020. You know, we had
Yep.
COVID, so I grew every year.
Love that.
And in
Even with COVID, that's
2000,
great.
it didn't still today. So technically, I'm in my third year. I'm not. This is my third year.
Okay.
So I said that to say is I ran that way my first year, where
Okay.
I have 4 guys in one house, and
What was the
what
issue you ran into?
I just felt as though things weren't getting done. I just felt as though I do know I had the wrong crew lead, to sort of say.
But now you do, right? Now I feel like now this
Now I
person.
do. Now
Now
I
you
have
do.
now I do. Even some of my trainees, show promise. It got to the point where I will only hire certain, mental characteristics.
Yeah, you learn how to hire as you grow. 100%.
Correct.
Yeah.
So correct. Yeah. So I'm not gonna say I'm afraid to go back that way. I just felt as though, again, I was new to it, so cash flow.
So when you're so that comes down to when you're pricing jobs and the expectations. So for example, okay, you as the business owner, you've got to have some sort of way to translate what the expectation is to this manager. Okay. Because you can't just go blindly and say, get it done. You got to say, hey, you have 3 days to get this job done. You know what I'm saying? That's a different conversation that I'm sure you used to have, because you didn't have that leader that you could say, hey. So how are you pricing your jobs out? So if I give you a 2,000 square foot house, let's say I'm your customer, 2,000 square foot house, okay, ceilings, walls, trim, and doors. How do you quote it?
So doors is separate, and then ceiling, I'm by square footage.
Okay, so tell me, so tell me the price.
So it depends on demographics. So let's just say you're in my demographic right now. I can go anywhere from $275 to probably $3 a square foot.
Okay, $275 to $3 a square foot. Okay, so you're saying that based off of that, and I'll just go high, $3 square foot. That's $6,000 that you would charge me to do it.
For how many square feet?
2,000. Whole house.
2,000.
I know I'm putting you on the spot, but I just want you to see.
No. I'm trying to put it together for you. 2,000. Let's write it out.
And I went high because you said $3 a square foot. So you're saying
2,000 East Brunswick. So yeah, East Brunswick. $3 will be like a la creme de la creme out here.
Okay.
Our average, so let's dial it back and say our average is $250 a square foot.
$250. So let me scale back, because I asked you that for a reason. The reason is that you're pricing without identifying your margin. You understand? And the reality of the situation is you're going to complete work from Monday to Friday. You're going to do it. The question is, are you maximizing your resources? In other words, if you're doing 3 jobs that week, can you still hit the same amount you would hit if you put everyone together? Now watch this. So now we're going to dive into your numbers. What is
I
everyone
think I
getting
do more
paid?
now.
Okay, let me see. What is everyone getting paid per hour? Tell me.
So
You
my
don't have to tell me
highest,
their name. The
no, my
highest,
highest guy is 27.
27. What's the next
Mhm.
guy?
25,
25. What's the next guy?
18, 18.
18. Great
Mhm.
pay, man. I love this. And then what's the last guy?
He's 14.
14, man. I love that you're paying really well, bro. That says that you're ready to grow. So I'm just admiring some things that I'm seeing, man. It's just further giving me, excitement about your future with this. But you have 27, 25, 18, 18, 14. Are you doing everything by the book? Is everyone getting taxes taken out?
I give you my exact number. It's like $1,300 a day, something like that.
I'm gonna pull it up right now. What is your all right, so you're about $1,300 a day.
Something like
So
that.
do you know what your workers' comp percentage is?
Not off top, no.
This is probably like 15, let's just say 15%. So right off the
Maybe a
bat,
little high, but yeah.
before workers comp and before taxes, you're at 102 an hour. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All
Mm-hmm.
right. And
Mm-hmm.
then let's say
That's spot on.
yeah, let's say at 15%, that's
That's
15.
that's spot on.
Yeah, that's 117 with workers comp at 15% plus taxes at let's say 10% of the 102. So let's say I'm gonna just say 130 an hour is what you as the business owner have to pay. And if everyone's working 8 hours a day, that's 1040. Okay. That's at 8 hours a day. Okay.
I have an admin as well.
And you have an office admin. That's a fixed cost. I'm worried
Okay.
about job costing right now.
Okay.
Okay. So if you look at it like this, here's what I suggest that you do. And I just want you to try this experiment. You're still in a figuring it out stage. So like
Of
there's
course, I
nothing.
know that. Of course.
So
Yeah.
you can alter things, bro. I've changed so many things in my business, how many people I put on a job, who I put people with. 5 is not ideal. 4 is, but right now you have 3 helpers. So what the goal should be is to get to 2 crews of 4. I just want you to see what these bigger teams can accomplish.
2 crews of 4?
2 crews of 4 is ideal in residential painting. Okay. So let me just help you understand. And I want you to give me I want you to visualize this. Okay. Tell me how long you think it would take your crew of 5. Okay. And that's with you on the job supervising. For early on in your business, which I consider you early on still, you should be on that job in your downtime, watching the process, watching the leadership, watching the project management. So imagine you being on this job. You have a 2,000 square foot house, ceilings, walls, trim, doors, 2 coats on the walls, everything getting done top to bottom. Okay. How long will it take this crew of 5 with you on the job, overseeing, not painting, to do the job?
That's like 2 days.
2 days. That's
Yes,
your
that's
expectation for your team. That's your whole team, everyone rocking it out. 2 days. Okay.
2 days.
You cool with that? 2 days?
Two and a half if you have touch ups. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to even go a little further, say 3 days. Let's say that's a lot, but let's say it's 3 days. Okay. So, based off of your costs right now, 1040 times 3 is what? 3120. So you as the business owner, you're paying 3120 to get it done. Okay. Your painting business should operate at a 50% gross margin on everything that you do. Anything below that is essentially you doing what you need to do to keep your schedule busy. But
You said 50?
50% is where you should be for gross margin. It's possible, especially if you present yourself well.
It is.
Yeah, but we're going high here. So I'm just going to say that we're going higher. How much paint do you think you'll need on a 2,000 square foot house? Ceilings, walls, trim, doors.
That maybe 25, 20 gallons?
25. I like that. 25. Okay, let's multiply 25 by $40 a gallon. So that's $1,000 in paint. So right now on this job, you're all in 4120. And you're saying you're going to get this job done in 3 days. That's 3. Okay. All right. So if you're at 4120 total cost, 50% margin, you're at 8240 for the job, the whole house. And honestly, that's not too bad. Okay. 8240 divided by 2,000 square feet, you're at $4 a square foot. But you said that you get it done in 2 days. So let's see what it would look like in 2 days. So that'd be 2080 for your total labor cost, plus still $1,000 in paint. Okay. So for you guys, it would have to probably be done in 2 days based off the pricing you said. So you're at 3080 total times times 2 to get your 50%. You'd have to sell that job for $6,000. Okay. But what you pretty much told me is in 2 days, that team of 5 can generate what? $6,000 worth of revenue. That's what you just told me. Okay. Okay. So that's a $6,000 revenue right there in 2 days, bro, with your 5 guys, which you said it might be 2.5, but I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt here. That is some serious production with your guys. That opens up the schedule for another 3 days. So pretty much what you're telling me is that your team of 5 can generate $3,000 in a day.
Roughly.
That's roughly. So what's $3,000 times 5? That's 15 grand a week on average. And you might hit 12 grand. You might hit 16 grand, depending on how you price them and how you allocate jobs in certain slots for this team. But look at this. You're optimizing. You're telling me pretty much that you could do, and I'll just go lower, 13 grand a week right now with this team. If you're telling me they can get done a 2,000 square foot house in 2.5 days at that price point. So just giving you some examples here. Multiply that by 4, you're hitting 52,000 a month.
So sidebar. So also the other issue with that was when you have that much going on the site, with that many guys, I guess I get what you're saying, because I'll be there.
You're going to be there quarterbacking. Actually, excuse me, not quarterbacking. You're going to be on the sideline coaching your project manager on process. And that's where you come in as a business owner and say, how do we attack a full repaint? I'm going to ask you, when you go into a house that you guys are just getting started, what's the first thing you do on this job? Ceilings, walls, trim. What's the very first thing that you do when you walk in?
Prep floors.
Prep floors. How do you prep them? Do you put tarp down? You put paper down?
We use paper.
All right. You're just like us. You're throwing paper. So your 3 helpers should be doing what?
Applying the paper.
Prepping. That's all right. Prime paper. So you guys got ceilings to paint. So what else is gonna be prepped?
So
light fixtures, fans,
all that, the doorknobs,
all that. So your 2 guys should be scaling ladders. So they should be doing all right. So once your guys are done paper and your 2 guys are on the light fixtures and fans, what should be done now? Maybe doors should be taken off and racked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's doing that? The 3 helpers. So they need, their job is, so you're creating this production system for this job. And we have that so you can optimize your time, but you can't just expect somebody who has their hands on a drill to be watching over this system when it's first being created until the team learns it. That's where you come in, and you've got to pretty much outline the system the night before and say, okay, Joe is going to be doing light fixtures and fans. Steve is going to be helping him do light fixtures and fans. 3 helpers going to be masking floors. Once those floors are masked, 1 helper does all the electrical plates in the whole house, puts them in a drawer in the kitchen. Then 2 guys who were doing the floors, they take off all the doors and rack them in the garage. Okay, you know what I'm saying? And that production system optimizes your dollar. Do you understand that? Like, does that concept help?
100%.
So when 100%. We go into a full interior repaint, bro, I mean, the system's moving. Everyone knows what they're doing, and we're maximizing, you know, and we do it with 4. So then you would outline, how do I create this full interior repaint system with 4? Do you see how much attention it requires for that one job type, right? Imagine you now taking cabinets and commercial and exterior. You have no consistency in any systems right now. So you can't maximize your dollar.
So now here we are. All right.
So my focus should be, if I were you right now, number 1, I would try my absolute best to only take full interior repaints, and you could do that with really good marketing.
So now here we are with that. So being transparent and being honest, I already had figured, we already know, again, like we established, that's 2 different beasts, right? 2 different cash flows, two different monsters. Yeah. I'm already in the process of separating those 2. Okay, so here is separating those 2. So come September, 3 of my guys are going to commercial, and I have enough commercial work to sustain to next March. And that's in different, locations. So what I planned on doing was just to take them, move them over. Me and my accountant, we already spoke. and go ahead and transfer it. So technically it's gonna be Brooks Brothers Painting and Coatings. So that's the commercial side of things. And redevelop, and this is why this is kind of more at came at a better time, is redevelop and structure my residential side, and figure out what's going on over here. Commercial,
You're stretching yourself way too thin. You haven't perfected one yet.
It's well, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, contracts already signed and sealed, projects already been awarded. So that right there is a non-tangible.
But
You know
you
what I
can
mean?
subcontract that. I think you should keep your proprietary team on just residential. You can find another company to go and do your commercial work. That's what I would do. If you're already signed, sealed, and delivered on that, I would find a reputable company in your area and subcontract that commercial work and work on your proprietary team, getting this residential process tight. Because you and I both know that the profit margins on residential are way higher. The work environment is way better. The you know that you're probably going to have to be on those commercial jobs full time, making sure that they're done right. You know, especially when you say coatings, that to me sounds like concrete. You're touching concrete.
No. So coding. So technically, diving into the real, like,
Industrial coatings, things like that.
so technically latex and all that to the real world, like when you really dive into paint, is coating. When we put on walls, that's still a coating. That's
Right.
not so that's why it's paintings and coating. So when we really dive into things, everything in life or everything we do, everything gets coated, whether
Right.
it's whatever the type of coating it is, whether it's a paint or urethane or whatever the case may be, is a coating. So I already dove in and I touched in a lot of aspects in this industry since I've been a part of it. I hear what you always say. You say, you think you should be narrow, like not necessarily one track. Like that's pretty much what you're saying now. I would honestly, kind of disagree. I believe with me jumping out there and taking on and understand and did what I did, and my guys, again, I can take any one of those same four guys besides the new trainee. I can take any one of the four guys and they can go in almost any situation and are knowledgeable about what's going on. Now, reason why everybody is ran skill set here is because honestly, again, the situation that I'm in. However, really take the time and break them down. I have one who, like I said earlier, he's just around the end of the day, he's get lazy. And so he's hard to close out. So I just found ways to utilize him. However, him as a painter, he's probably two of maybe your painters or two of another company's painters. And when I mean by two painters, one body is the equivalent to two painters. And I've done a lot of research, and I've worked under another company as a subcontract to see how they operate and move and how they painters move. And it's hard to get older painters to move at that higher production rate that we need. I'm just saying Jersey. The older guys, they move at their rate. They understand I'm hourly, right? They understand that. And, for those guys who understand that I'm hourly, it's hard to get them to move at the production that you move. So thus why I went and developed the system where cool. Today, get in there, whoever the case may be, this is done today. So the next day, this is done. So everything is being done. It's just broken down as a task. However, again, I do think that, me being versatile has awarded me the position to be able to do a mill the end of next year, bro.
All right. So I appreciate all that. And I love when someone tells me they disagree, because it gives me at least an opportunity to give you one more perspective, because I'm pretty set on my beliefs, as I'm sure you are yours. And all I'm trying to do is understand your situation and give you something that has worked for me, bro. Whatever you do is going to be successful, just based on who you are as a person, how you treat your team, how you pay your team. You're going to make it work. My concern right now is how long it's going to take you to go upward, because right now you're growing longward and you're not hitting upward. You're just growing wide. And if you were an investor, okay, right now in your business, I want you to think of Brooks Brothers Residential Painting as a standalone, tangible building. Let's call it Brooks Brothers drive-through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And essentially inside of there, okay, you have a great product, but you can only serve a certain amount of customers. You're turning people away for
Mm-hmm.
that specific service and that specific product. Okay. And you don't work in that building. You're the franchisee, you're the investor, and you pop in every once in a while. You see what's going on. You make the decisions. You tell people who, what to do. You cut the check. And what you're telling me right now is what you want to do in a business that already has demand. You're creating a brand. People are starting to recognize you. Your phones are ringing. And what you're essentially telling me right now is you want to deplete that business even more of its resources that it cannot even accommodate now, to go and take some of those resources and place them in another building where you have yet to create a brand, and you are essentially only going to be compared probably mostly by your price when it comes to commercial bidding. And essentially now you have two companies where you could be hitting the same goal you're trying to achieve if you just maximize one for the next 5 years and then branch off once you've established yourself. Because not only will you have the production system down, you're going to have the funding and the ability to train commercial codings. You're going to need special insurances. You're going to need special processes. My suggestion is you're probably going to want a full-time supervisor to oversee commercial work and bid commercial work that takes time, energy,
It takes a lot
attention.
of time.
Okay. You see what I'm saying? It's like when I put it that way, it almost seems a little crazy that you would deplete this business that's actually working, bro. That's actually generating interest, that you have customers that are calling you and you can't even touch them. And you want to take more resources out of that and put them somewhere else. I've seen it.
I have some tell me they don't care about the price. They going off my reputation. They just want me to take the job. Um, but again, that goes on both spectrums. Again, I have and again, relationships is what 90% of what we do here.
Absolutely.
Right. And I have relationships in both aspects. And this is what I really want you to understand. So we can better figure this, help, work this out. The relationships I have on my commercial side, these are established relationships. These are guys that are saying, listen, I don't want nobody else coming in here and touching my buildings because what you did in my building over there. I have, on residential side, people saying, I don't want you touching anybody because you already painted my mother's house.
But right now, all you're talking about, Jerome, listen, all you're talking about is your relationships and you. I'm talking and thinking about your assets and your production and the people that are actually producing this work and how tired they're going to be. Right now, there's burnout that's existing. You're overcompensating for the fact that they're working alone, and there's no consistency in their processes. So by default, as an employee, I'm coming to work every day, probably burnt out, probably exhausted. You're telling me that there's a guy that pretty much can outdo two of my painters. That isn't attractive to me. That means that he probably gives you 110% from Monday to Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday he's burnt out and he's not giving you 100%.
Nah, it goes back to how you hire and who you hire. I could have been an employee of yours, and I could have, so it's all about who you hire again and how you hire.
But it's also about the system that you plug these hires into to get them to feel not only great about where they work, but want to go above and beyond. And that's your job as a business owner, is to you have to look at what the workload is, what the system is. Now think about it. If you were an employee of your own company, don't be biased here. I just want you to see it from with just blinders on. You don't know Brooks Brothers Painting. And one day you go to work and you're working with 4 guys and it's great. You have chemistry. It's all good. And then 2 guys are gone the next day because they have to start another job. And then it's like, all right, well, I got to step up here. I got to do this, and this. And maybe, somebody who was working on the job did something. And you got to reach out to him and you're not sure what happened. And then the next day, the guy you were working with, now you're working alone. And you're probably thinking like, man, I didn't sign up for this. Because when somebody signs up for a company, chances are they want to work with a team, unless you've agreed that they can work alone.
No, so definitely work alone is mandatory. That's right. However, but it's phases, so it's still phased out. So you may come in in your 4-guy system. You may come in your 2-guy system. So I might send the 2 guys in the prep. And then the guys who are actually doing the painting, they may come in and do their painting for their 2 or 3 days. And as let's say the last room is being closed out, then it may be agreed upon.
The guys who do prep, are they always doing prep?
Most of the time, yeah.
How did they learn how to paint?
They painters. We're painters. That's what we do.
You said you had some helpers though.
Correct.
That aren't quite to the level.
So technically, I'm gonna say they both named J and T. So Jay, he works with my top guy every single day. So he's under him. T, he works between my other guy named Jay. I'm gonna say Jay, and my other guy with an N. I'm gonna say Nah. Yeah. So he pretty much works between those two, depending on what tasks are going on. I start we joke around and say you start in closets. So you work your way out from there.
Yeah.
So he works between them two. Let's just say so. Nye, he prep me and him. We may jump in the site. Okay, Nye, I need you tomorrow. We go jump in here and we go prep out. So Nye may prep out. Me and Nye may jump in and prep out. Tuesday, I may be the one at the site running around spackle, had a spackle done. Wednesday, James and let's just say T come in and they run around and cut all day. And maybe me and James may walk it out on Friday. While Troy and I walk out, whatever Troy was big.
So on Monday, what happens? Tomorrow, let's say Monday, what's the schedule look like Monday?
So Monday I have 2 going on plus a closeout. So Monday, me and Najim, we're going to prep. Remove the wallpaper that needs to be removed. And get the floors ready.
How many days of that job is allocated? Like, and how much? I believe that job?
It's 3, but we always put an extra buffer for 4, so it's 4.
So it's a pretty big job.
Yeah, it's decent.
It's a decent job. So
again, it's less than 2. It's about 1,400, about 1,500 square feet. But again, it's phases.
Well, yeah. So
it's phased out. So technically, what can be done in 2 is really stretched across the 4 because it's in phases. So technically, 9 may work 8 to 2, 8 to 4.
Are you? Let me ask you: are you happy with the system? Do you like it? I mean, is this working for you?
It works now.
Is it a system that somebody could come into your business and operate without too much instruction? It's something that you could sell your business and be like, okay, this is how it works.
So what happens? So for me, again, my guys are fantastic. And again, this goes to my problem. My guys are fantastic. But if it came for a long time that it became, I'm telling what to be done.
Right. So everything depends on how, like, your relationship, because you're a relationship guy. So like you have certain pull with certain guys to be like, you know them to their personalities and what they can accomplish. And I think based off of what you said, you could be, being lenient on other guys just because the personality and putting them in positions. Is that true? Like, is that kind of what, based on just trying to get them motivated based on what you know about them? Is that how that works?
It's certain jobs, because I know it can be daunting. I won't send certain guys to, and in times. So let's just say,
like a wallpaper removal, one of your guys is just not having it.
He's going to complain the whole time.
He's going to complain. Like, why am I here? Yeah. So
the whole time.
So let's kind of narrow down. So you tell me, man, because I've tried to pinpoint. I think I've done a pretty good job of just some areas. But what is the big problem here, man?
I think right now my next goal, what I'm working on is hiring the right leadership. And what I mean by that, again, my guys are fantastic. They can go and literally paint circles, and I guarantee you, and it's just, work ethic, right? If you have the guys with the right work ethic, guys who more so get things done. So
you're saying that there's some work ethic that's lacking in your company right now?
No, not work ethic. There is mental.
Okay. So what? Give me an example. I want a solid example. Just a solid example so I can help.
The sprayer go down. Who's troubleshooting the sprayer?
Okay.
Who's going to figure out a solution to get the job done without the sprayer and without, right? So who's going to do it without necessarily losing that production time? If the sprayer goes down, I'm gonna get a whole bunch of what do I do? I may be, so also to fix a lot of these issues, because I knew I had to be around, I also learned how to get my work within the 15-mile radius. So now all I work is literally, and again, with the phase-based production, right? My phase-based production, I had to minimize my radius. So now all I work is literally within a 10-minute circle.
I think that you have to do phase-based production by default, man. I can't, bro, I can't falter from my viewpoint here, because I've hit success.
I'm not telling you to. No.
And what I'd like for you to do is just listen and be open to this idea, because that's all this is.
I am, and this is what I'm. As for my commercial side of it, it's going to move forward. The bank accounts already set up, right? Time is already allotted. I've already been through cash flow problems. We mastered that already. So that we already, that's to me, to you, those, and for the one seeking the help, right? So I don't want to make it seem like I have from the one seeking the help, I want to reassure you, right, that this 90 days, 94 days or something like that of payroll and free flow accounts and over there already for that. So once these projects now, granted, if we get caught up in a net 90, and it's supposed to be a net 30 twice, 3 times back to back, yeah, I'll probably get in trouble over there and might have to use some flow over here to float that.
But again, I was never talking about the business side of things. I'm still focused on your employees. That's all that I care about. I care about the people that are working for you, because you can't grow without great people. Do you understand that concept?
I get it. So that's why. Okay, so listen, it's 3 guys going over here, right? Okay. It's 2 guys in training. I'm stuck with 1 painter and myself and a trainee over in my residential side. So my residential, you could pretty much say we have.
Your residential system, though, is so skill dependent.
So we're going to fix. So this is what
this conversation is about, because what I want you to understand is, yes, if you got that commercial work, I'm not going to stop you from doing it. It's signed, sealed, and delivered. That's not what my goal is. My goal is to help you understand that you need to have clearly defined processes on paper from start to finish and identify, hey, you know what? If you want to do your interior jobs with 2 people and have this production system to where you have 2 preppers, then you have 2 painters come in, and then that, to me, that's absolute chaos. Not only for you as the scheduler, but for the customer. If she knows that, hey, there's 2 people coming for 3 hours in the morning and then they're leaving, and then I have 2 people coming tomorrow to do painting, for me as a homeowner, I wouldn't appreciate that. I want the company that's going to come to stay and work all the way through.
I agree. I just
want to make sure we're on the same page there.
No, I agree with that. But and also that's why I highlighted I had to run more like contractors, right? That's why I made sure I had, because technically that's what goes on. So
right. That's not a home service experience that is custom.
I agree with that 100%.
Okay, so what I'm trying to help you do, let's get to the point here, bro, because I want to give you something tangible, and all that I could do is give you what's worked for me, because I don't know anything else, and I've heard some other things about other ways people do it. I'm just telling you, you are so far ahead of the game. You have great resources in front of you. Okay. My thing is, fine. If your goal is to pull a couple people off of residential, put them in the commercial, no problem. But guess what? When you hire people into your residential system, you've got to have clearly defined roles, responsibilities, and you have to have clearly defined processes. So you don't need to find skill-based individuals who may lack character, motivation, and the ability to problem solve. You can actually find good people, which, Nick Slavic, I don't know if you've heard of him, but he has a great motto. They call them decent human beings that you can plug into a system, and it's not skill dependent. Because if you are focused on skill dependent, which you might be by default, because I can foresee you're going to be in a hiring crisis with having to keep up with commercial and residential. I already see that happening, bro. 100%. You're going to be hiring without logic, because you're going to need bodies to fulfill the demands that you're going to have. That's what I'm trying to help you avoid.
So right now I'm at a great place where the 3 can sustain. I believe after talking to you, I'm more confident that I really 2 people is the amount of people that I need to bring on. So now it'll be bringing them on and actually
So
trying to go
essentially,
back.
you've come up with the idea that you're okay with 4 on the residential and you want 3 on the commercial. Is that what you've kind of
I,
decided?
as of correct right now. Um, so I do believe that I would like to. I'm sorry. Are you still here?
I'm here, man. I'm ready. I'm there.
I can't even see you no more. I do believe that um, I want to go ahead and do try to implement the system that you did speak of. I do have. I can't even see you no more. Hold on. I do have a residential system. However, we can definitely schedule at a later date if you would like to review it. And maybe I am doing something wrong within that um, about what's done, from the moment we come in to the moment we leave. Oh, I don't see you anymore. So,
It's all right. I'm still here, man. I can hear you.
all right. From the moment we walk in the door to the moment that we leave, um, I do agree with you that it is
I
not.
just look at it from an investor point of view. If I came into your business, I don't want to have to tailor my processes to how someone's feeling that day if they don't want to do wallpaper or not. I shouldn't have to do
I
that. In,
shouldn't have
in
to.
other words,
That shouldn't be my problem. No,
where I'm
not at all.
getting at, yeah, where I'm getting at, Jerome, is if I own a coffee shop, there's a menu and there's a recipe, right? So essentially, what I would have my employees do is follow the instructions on the recipe and only serve what's on the menu. Does that make sense?
I get it.
So essentially, that's their only responsibility as employees. And if you're operating with employees, that's what you should be creating as an environment that's predictable, consistent, that has a menu of items that you serve and ingredients on how to produce those results. And then once you start doing it, you will see patterns, you will see numbers, you will identify your margins, and you will say, you know what? I shouldn't be taking this wallpaper. It's taking too much time. Have the customer find someone to remove the wallpaper and we'll come in and paint. Okay. Like those are the things that a business owner does to optimize, not only optimizing your money, but optimizing the energy, optimizing the morale of your company. I'd love you to take your guys to Top Golf, man. You care. But honestly, bro, if I came in as a consultant to your business right now, the first thing I would do Monday is put everyone on that job. I put everyone on that job and I would get everyone working together and I would see what that looked like for the week. Guarantee it. I would do that without question. Just see what that looks like and say, you know what, this actually might be better. Let me figure out how to schedule this. And then you have a production team that's pumping it out. Then you add another team of 4. And then you find leadership in that production team. Leaders can't be leaders if they don't have people to lead. So if you're just giving people the opportunity to work with one other person, that's not a leadership, that's a partnership. But when there's
So
4 other people underneath your number one guy, he has the ability to delegate tasks. So you as the business owner, you need to go in there and start delegating tasks and showing this person, hey, do you see why I asked him to do that? Because we got to think ahead and make sure that we have enough time to get the ceilings done. Hey, do you see why I did that? And then when the customer comes home, hey, this is our project manager. Okay, and you're placing responsibility on somebody and you're giving them the ability to delegate. Like this is called like team morale, man. This is building a unit, but you can't really do this right now. And all I'm trying to help you do is
yeah,
prepare for this
it was
commercial.
it was hard. Again, like I said, I did try for two. That again is the reason why I am where I am. I did try, and again, it probably could go back to me. Could be being a little more patient. I did operate like that again for almost 18, 19 months. Um, Problem finding you can finding you still have to have certain characteristics mentally, and I'm just say that. I don't know a better way to say it. You still have to have, you have to be bred with, you have to be born with these things or bred with these things. And a lot of these guys just want to come to work. I don't know what it's like out there in Florida, correct?
So, I mean, that's worrisome to me because you're getting ready to jump into commercial where that cognitive ability that you're saying that you want in your team needs to be even higher than what it is now.
So he's over there. He's there. He's over there.
So,
I had to get. He's over there.
but listen, man, this is our time. I'd love to jump on again. I think I hope was it helpful?
I believe so.
All right, cool, man. We'll take some of that, man, and give me some feedback. I'd love to see what you do with it. And either way, man, I think you're on your way to being successful, bro. I think
I hope so.
you're an entrepreneur, man. Sometimes, man, even me, it's hard to take advice, but I'm just coming to you from the perspective of I look at it like, I'm the outsider looking in. Right now, you're in the building, I'm outside of the building, and I'm looking at a system that could be way more optimized. And I don't know your guys. If I could have a chance to talk to each one of them, I'd probably give you much more direct advice based on, what I hear about their personality, likes and dislikes. That's on you. So, keep doing what you're doing, and I wish you nothing but the best, man. Good luck.
Hey, appreciate it. AT, I don't want you to think that I wasn't taking your advice or anything like that.
No, of course not.
Okay, please don't think that. I'm just trying to give you what's going on in my situation, as well as take your advice. But you know what I
Absolutely.
mean. I can't just drop the commercial work again. It's
No,
too
you
many
can't.
contracts, too
It's
much.
too deep.
And I don't want to sub it out. At the end of the day, that is my passion. Is where to go. And I do love residential, so this is a toss up between both worlds. I love dealing with the customer. I love the after effect, but I also love the hustle and the grit of commercial. I kind of love that, and I love being. I love both.
Yeah.
I love machines, and I love everything. Uh, um, so, but at the same time, is I do know that I am going to go, and again, I did go. I was that way. Um, I just want it's just Jersey. I interview, I fire, and this is but I didn't let you know. I let go I hire somebody, I try somebody. I even went through, like training, whatever the case might be, training. Maybe I've had new guys walk in and walk out. We get a lot of maybe rehabilitated guys that want to paint. We get a lot of young kids who really don't understand it takes a little bit of work ethic, to go up, take all the run around the house and take all the face plates off instead of look at you like, do I put them in a box? So it takes, so it's really going through and finding these qualified guys. And it was me not being able to find enough qualified guys and keep up with the growth. So I said, okay, cool. How do I keep up with the growth and still, manage what I have and bring in new guys and maybe go back to training? So that's why I brought in training guys. And one of my guys that I had with me from the beginning, I end up letting go because, just taking advantage of being understood that, you are my lead guy. But you're not going to take advantage of me after so long. Keep showing up the
I've
job
been there.
sites late, things like
I've been
that.
there.
So that's really been my turmoil, is really, going through this hackle and backle
Right.
with guys and people. And so that's why I went into this whole phase-based production things, because I wanted to I keep running to experience of growth, times of growth, and I can't take advantage of them. And I just got tired of taking advantage of them. I mean, not being able to take advantage of them. So I developed what I had with this project, which is
Right.
production-based system, which was allowing me to get things done for a while. But I am seeing fatigue in certain instances of certain guys during certain parts of the month where
Right.
I had to be like, okay, next month let's slow it down in the beginning, whatever the case may be, if I can. But then it comes to a point where I can't take certain amount of work because I don't like to be booked anything past a certain amount of time, because then it takes away my flexibility. So that's kind of where it's been. But I just want you to know, brother, right? I wasn't, I not at all was
No,
I.
not at all, bro. And I just know that you're deep in a situation. If I would have got to you last year and we talked about this, I would again just gave you the same advice. Get the production system up and running, and then ultimately from there build that out, and then it branch to commercial. I'm not telling you you can't go toward your passion. I'm just looking at it from a stone cold business perspective of there's assets that you have, which are your employees that get tired. And ultimately, they need to be interchangeable. And right now, you have a business where your employees are not interchangeable. If your best guy leaves, you might be taking on work that only he's really good at. So my suggestion to you is niche down and only take work that you can replace people with in the event that what you said was inevitable, they do leave. So ultimately, like that's the mindset is let me create this system. Number one, because this is your only business. This is what feeds your family. So you need to create something that is essentially a cash flow machine for you that is predictable, that produces results, and then branch out to what you're great at. I'm not saying you can't do commercial, bro. You're young. You could do commercial for the rest of your life. Get this residential system butter tight. That's all I'm saying. Just get it butter tight.
I understand that 100%. And the commercial work I'll speak of is mostly like repaints. So like, it is nothing but house on steroids. Um, and between you and me, I will share this with you. Yeah, the materials are cheaper, but the labor is twice as much than Residential. So there's your back and forth where residential is a little cheaper labor and more expensive material
If you
versus
own 10 businesses right now, if you own 10 businesses, right, which people do, right, all they're looking for is predictability in those businesses. Right now, you own one business. So for you, you're doing so much that like, you're just trying to grab everything you can. And I just think that again, I'm just going to keep hitting that point to you, bro. You have great employees already. Perfect that production system. They should all be working together. There's no way you can tell me
I
otherwise.
get
We
that.
just came
I
up with a
try that
solution.
again.
We just came up with a scenario where you told me that these guys can produce $6,000 in 2 days. That leaves you three more days to make $9,000 if you price those jobs consistently. I'm just telling you that you have an opportunity here to maximize.
Tanner,
That's
real
it.
quick, let me ask you a question. How do you find your guys? Indeed.
I mean, it's just a matter of filtering them out. I mean, everywhere. Like it's just like ads, right? How do you find your customers on Google, Facebook? It's just a matter of being present when the best employees are looking. Where do best employees come from? Usually they go from one job to another. They're not sitting at home, right? So you need to always have an ad up, making sure that when somebody is fed up with their job, Brooks Brothers Painting is right there to give them a better opportunity. And the copy of that ad should include, hey, this is a better opportunity. This is what we offer. Top of the line pay. You do offer great pay, great opportunity for growth, team events. We take our team members to Top Golf, or we do things like you've got to sell yourself the same way you sell yourself to customers on the best employees to want to work with you. That's the mindset that you have to have. You've essentially just got to market it to the point where it's attractive to the mistake many people make is hiring when they need help.
I think that's smart. I think you just hit it on when you said that. It was like, so I was going to pick it. So I only hire when I need help. Like I only.
How silly would it be to only look for jobs when you need jobs?
Yeah, right.
That would be stupid.
I have like keep pipeline.
Yeah, you got so you would think, man, I only have jobs for this month. I need to start marketing now, right?
Yeah.
I only have employees for this month. I need to start marketing now so I can continue to grow. Like you need to have ads. You should allocate $500 a month on hiring ads every month. That should be just that's an investment for a greater future in your company. So all right, my friend, that's my time, dude. Let's jump on again, man. I'd love to hear you. And I'm gonna get you in a couple weeks, man. I'm gonna see what happened from here.
Let's do that. So right now I'm gonna let you know that I'm going to look to hire a new guy. Then we're gonna go from there. But I am going to implement this 4-person system. I am going to.
I think I want to hear how that goes, man. Just try it. Remember, you're just testing things out. Just try it and see how it works. But the key is you need to be there and you need to be coaching whoever you choose to be the top dog. You need to be coaching them on thinking ahead and delegating. So don't go to the helper and say, hey man, I want you to go work on that doors. You pull your guy aside, say, tell him to go work on those doors. And then that's how you create a leader. You give them the ability to have authority.
All right,
bro.
So I see you around the way, and then we'll jump back on soon.
Catch up with you later, Jerome. Appreciate it, bro.
All right, baby.
All right, man. Dripjobs CRM is finally here. That's right. So Dripjobs is an automation platform for contractors, home service professionals that's going to automatically follow up with your customers. It's going to allow you to send invoices, estimates. It's going to allow you to send out blast marketing emails to individuals based on where they are in the buying process. This software is next level. And I'm reaching out to you. You're a listener of this podcast, and I want you to be one of the first ones to give it a shot. So if you want to see what Dripjobs can do for your business, I'd love for you to head over to dripjobs.com, sign up for a free demo, and get your team involved and let us sit with you and show you how powerful this software is. It's going to save you time, it's going to make you money, and you're going to love the features that are built into Dripjobs. So if you want to check it out, head over to dripjobs.com. And we will give you first priority being a podcast listener to be one of the very first to try out Dripjobs in your home service business. I'm super excited to share that with you, and I'll catch you on the next episode.